Now that when we have created these different categories in our gradebook, we would actually want to create the actual assignments where uh, like if you remember in one of the previous videos I've spoken about, you need to take a call on what kinds of assessments do you want your students to take. So in this video, we'll be creating a simple assignment and we'll map it to one of these activities. So if you remember, I have told that in my continuous assessment, I'll have 4 parts, activity 1 till 4. So, and each will have 20, 30, 20, 30 weight respectively. So, and I would want to map it to this particular continuous assessment. So let's see how do we do it. So from here, I want to navigate back to my course page, which is this one, and I'll click over here. So it will take me to this page. So let's say under different sessions or under different time period or parts of this entire term, I would want to create those touch points. These assignments will slowly be given to students. So let's say just after my session 1, I would want to create one assignment and assign it to students. So what I can do now is click on this another button, which is my add an activity or a resource. When I'll click on it, such a window will open. So there are multiple options on this left panel, but what I'm interested right now in is this assignment part. So once I'll click on it, so that there's a description given, you can go through it on your own. What you need to do next is click on this add button. So once you'll do it, it will take you to a page where you can give a name to your activity. So I'll call it assignment 1, let's say, under continuous. So this is something optional, whichever way you want to name it, or maybe like it can also be very apt towards the kind of assignments that the kind of content that you are expecting in this particular assignment. Then I'll give some description. So they are required. So all the instruction part can go over here, and just make sure you're clicking this option so that whenever students are on their main page, they will also see whatever description that you have given to this particular assignment. And let's say there are certain files you would want to upload. So you can click over here and upload through. So let's say it might become very important when you would want students to refer to a particular reading when they are attempting this particular assignment or something, or even other files for that matter. So once you have chosen the file, you can click on upload this file, and that way it will get uploaded. Now this availability is a very important part. So let's say I want my students to start attempting this particular assignments from, let's say, 11th September. So this will get enabled only from 11th September, and this is the time from when do I want them to start attempting the test. So this follows a 24-hour clock format. So 00 is actually night, 12 a.m. and so please take care of this particular thing. And this due date is what until when I'm expecting students to submit the assignment. So let's say I'll keep it as 16 September, and here I'll put overnight, like 16 September 11:59 p.m. is something which I'm expecting. This is an optional setting of cutoff, which says like if you want to put a hard stop towards like the point that student should not be able to submit the assignment after this particular point. So if I want to keep that hard stop, and hence, like if you remember in one of the videos I've mentioned about, you must be aware or you must be sure on whether you want to give extension or something to students or not. Think like you might be needing some extension, then just keep this option disabled. Or if you want to keep a hard stop on the deadline, you can enable this option and choose a particular date. Let's say I'll keep 18 September 23:59 as my hard stop. Okay, and this is a good option for you to, if you want to keep a reminder for yourself, like, so when do you want Moodle to send you a notification regarding that you should start grading the assignments. So I've also spoken about the kind of response you would want to get from students. So there are two ways. You want file submission, that means you would want them to upload files, then you can keep this checked. Otherwise, let's say you just want them to write inside the text box on Moodle itself and respond then and there. So you can keep this particular option checked. And so once you'll do this, there's another option that will get enabled, which is your word limit. Let's say you want to keep a restriction on the number of words that students can use to respond to. Let's say 1500 is something, the limit which I'm keeping. So that way you can set the word limit. But for now, I'll just keep this particular option on, which is my file submission. By the way, you can keep both of these options on. So that way students can choose to either upload a file, or they can simply choose to write in the text box that will be available on Moodle. So for now, I'll just keep the file submissions. Again, recall the point where I was talking about how many number of files, the maximum number of files you are expecting students to upload. So they will not be allowed to upload more than 2 files. And similar way, this is the size, maximum size at what I'm expecting. So this is by default is set to 2 GB. I can change it to any particular option, let's say 100 MB or 20 MB file, not more than that. This final option in this particular setting is the file types, which I've already spoken about. What are the kinds of files that you are expecting students to upload? Let's say image files is something which I'll allow. So JPEG, JPE, JPG, then .png. So all these options, or if there are more, if you want them to upload it. Then let's say if there's a presentation that I'm expecting them to upload, so I can choose a PPT or other options which are available. So let's say I'll choose PowerPoint presentation and .ppt. You want them to upload a ODT, open document text, or a PDF, or a docs, or a doc format. So you can choose all the options which are applicable to you, and you can click on save changes. So that way it will only restrict the file types to these which you have chosen. Then coming down over here, feedback type. So these are different ways in which you can give feedback to students. So this option is annotating the PDF. So if you're asking students to upload a file, you might want to annotate your comments in the PDF or the doc itself. So this option will be very helpful for you in that sense. So that way you can open the document on Moodle itself, and then they can start commenting or highlighting the lines on which you want to give feedback on. You can choose to enable this option if you want to download their work, comment on it, and then re-upload finally. So this option is something which you can keep checked if that's something which you want to do and you do not want to use the Moodle interface to give annotated text or feedback. This option will be applicable. You can keep this on when there's additionally one file which you want to upload to give an entire feedback on. So it differs from this option in the sense like there's additional some feedback which you do not want to annotate on the work of the student, but something else you want to give feedback on. So you can keep a file ready with your feedback and you can upload the same. So for now I'll just uncheck these options. This comment in line is something I'll just keep it off, because in many cases students might be using different document format or structure to respond to a particular assignment. So there might be tables involved, there might be figures involved. So but if you enable this option, what Moodle will try to do is extract the text from the file that they'll be uploading. So that way all that functionality and nuances might get lost. So just keep this option off. Submission settings. So there's something which is not required, and even at times it becomes confusing for them to click the submit button additionally. So what they can do is they can simply upload the assignment and submit it. That way it will get submitted. And so if you want them to have sign or give their assent to a particular assignment submission, you can keep this option on. So that way it will be a declaration from them that they are actually uploading the assignment, and that might be the final attempt that they will can take. So this option allows students to have a number of attempts. So if you keep never, it will not allow uh, them to reopen the attempt that they have already taken. So if you change it to manually, so this is a setting which our teacher to open a particular attempt for the student, and then you can set like how many times a student can take a particular attempt, a particular assignment. So let's say 2 or just 1, or whichever number you think of, you can set it. But if you think like you would not want the students to open it, then you can choose this option never. Otherwise, there's third option, which is like if you want them to take a particular assignment multiple times till the time they are passing it. So that way you'll have to grade every time that they are submitting the assignment, and finally when they'll pass it in one of the attempts, that will be their final grade. But for now I'll just keep it never. So there's group submission settings. So like I had spoken about it, like if you want to give a particular assignment as an individual assignment or as a group assignment, at something you should be very clear of. So if you want to give a group assignment and you would want students to upload as a group, then you must set the group first. So right now we did not set any of the groups, so even though I'll do a yes, it will ask me to create a group and upload it. So for now I'll just keep it as no, and I'll go further. So these notifications you can ignore. So you can choose to change these. It's very intuitive. By the way, anything that you are not very familiar with, there are some help buttons available, so which can help you with the basic understanding of a particular functionality. So use them, and they might come very handy for you. Okay, then this is another important point. So let's say this particular assignment, I want to keep my maximum grade to be of 20 marks. Please notice this is not the weight of this particular assignment, but the maximum marks that I want to allocate for this particular activity. So do not assume it to be the weights that we have spoken about so far. Important point over here is this. Important point over here is this grade category. So if you remember, while we were setting the gradebook, we had set 3 different categories. One was continuous, one was midterm, and the third one was our final term. So you can, so this particular one I want to place under continuous type of category. So what I'll do, I'll click over here and it will suggest me those 3 options. So I'll put this one under continuous assessment. So that's where it should go. And this will actually be carrying my 20% of the grade. So yeah, so further I'll go over here, rest all these things I can keep as default. If you want to explore, you can go further and see like what's there. Just one more thing that could be useful would be this activity completion. So this is more of a progress bar for students if you want that to be enabled. If you think that would be helpful for them to see like whether they have attempted enough assignments on the course and they would want to see their progress, you can enable this option, and then of the 3 options you can choose any. So if you do not want it to be displayed, then you can just choose this first option of do not indicate the activity completion, and then I can simply click on save and return to the course. So that way it will take me back to the first page and my activity has been created. So far I've created the activity, but I haven't assigned the weight for this to my continuous category type. So what I need to do after this is I will go over here, click on this setting icon again, and I'll go to Gradebook setup, and you will notice that now my assignment 1 is coming under my continuous assessment category. So from here now I can assign the weight to this particular item. Now think about it, what weight should I be giving? So like I said, I had 4 components and I want to give this as 20% weight. that 20% will contribute towards continuous assessment alone. Okay, so my continuous assessment is 40% overall, so that 20% will contribute to this 40% part. So I'll put it as 20 and I'll save. So likewise, I can create the other three grade items under my continuous assessment, and I can assign them the weights as 30, 20 and 30 again to complete my continuous assessment part. So that's how you do it.